We've gotten a lot of reveals this week, just specifically referring to the whole doc situation and why he was banned back in 2020 from Twitch. And new information came to light from him as the source, so I kind of had to change my perspective on that too. I was thinking that maybe people were just overthinking it, and in this case, it looks like they kind of weren't, which is unfortunate. I'm not really sure where Doc's gonna go from here. Um, we still don't know like the full story. I mean, it was one Twitter thing. I mean, it would be nicer if he like gave a full expose, if you will, on what exactly happened there and the different details so we can kind of get a better answers. Like, did he know going into it that they were a minor? I don't want to get into it, that whole thing. But anyway, in all of that discussion, Asman was reacting to that situation and he gave his opinion on the people as a whole and us not allowing minors on the internet until I don't know if he's ever said the age. I think he said 18, which is the age I agree with too. Just people under the age of 18 should just not have access to social media, and I 100% agree with that. I think it's detrimental. Parents need to try to do whatever they can to keep their kids off of it for as long as possible because I mean, coming from a smaller high school that wasn't like in the most developed part of the world, if you will, I mean, it's still a nice town. But even just seeing what social media did in our small town like that, it's just not good. Really, as a whole, I just don't think kids are ready for that kind of exposure to the whole world. And so he gave his opinion on it, and people are less than happy, I guess we could say. This is the main Twitter thread that was created by Lily Simpson. Is putting the that's a whole different thing. Of course it's people like this that have like the biggest issue. But anyway, it says or content creators could not just be huge creeps. I don't know. I mean, she's not wrong, but also I don't think that really negates his point at all either. Which you can see in the picture there. It says ban minors from having social media accounts, which I totally agree. Like I said, what benefit does it grant to kids? Please let me know. I mean, maybe I missed something, but I really don't see any benefit that has provided to any kids whatsoever in the history of mankind. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Social media is a great tool to have. But I think in terms of just how kids develop mentally and all the above emotionally, I don't see it playing any important role or having any superior role in their lives than just having a normal life. Because it can get into the whole like you're comparing yourself to other people. You see a lot of things that you probably shouldn't be seeing on the internet, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, I really think that this is the main point out of all this that I want to take away is that minors should just not be on the internet. It's just my opinion. Having been a minor myself in high school, I noticed even looking back for me personally the effects that it had because you're just always comparing with other people. And you're not only comparing with other people, again, you're seeing a lot of things that you really should not be seeing on at that age, I think, anyway, until you're much older and you can handle seeing things like that. I think we all know what I'm talking about. Again, it's not even really just social media. I think it's the internet in general too. Um, the internet. I mean, it's hard to say though because the internet is such a great tool, and I really think that it can be used, but it needs to be like severely monitored for younger people because of how easily accessible anything on the internet is and how easily accessible it is for other people to prey on them, if you will. Because, again, the world is so vast, the internet is so big, there's just always some nook or cranny that you can get caught into where you just should not be at. And so, yeah, when he makes this point, there's just a lot of people there's, of course, not happy with it. I haven't read all of the tweets on this thread. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them, from what I've seen anyway, not this specific thread, but other like Reddit threads and things like that, agree with her statement that they shouldn't be banned, that 13 is okay. And it makes me wonder, like, do they think 13 is not low enough? Do they think it should be like 10-year-olds? And I don't know. To me, I think 18 is the perfect sweet spot because they're getting out of high school or right around getting out of high school. They've developed up to that point, and I think by then they should be able to handle it. Anything before that, from all of my past experiences, I see absolutely no benefit that it has, specifically the social media. The internet can be another topic, but social media definitely for sure. It didn't help anybody that I went to school with. We'll just put it that way. It says I can't imagine there's a soul on earth, especially one that's been on social media for an extended period, that actually thinks kids benefit from social media in any way, shape, or form. True. That's that's really the point. It's like, where is the benefit? Where are the pros that outweigh the cons? Are there any pros? Because I have not found any. I have not found any. It says minors shouldn't be banned from social media because I can't control myself around them. Is a hell of an admission to make on a live stream. And see, this is kind of like the closed-mindedness that a lot of people seem to share. And you can see that I got 11,000 likes. I understand the point that he's trying to make. That yes, people need to have self-control. But I would be interested to see how exactly he determines what self-control is. Because again, it goes into the whole thing like there's a lot of people all over the world and a lot of different cultures where different things are accepted and things aren't. And that's where it can be a lot more tricky. I mean, that's another topic in itself too, is like with the internet being around the world with different cultures and things where people are just so different on viewpoints and their walks in life and things like that. I think having that universal, they just are not allowed until they're of age or of an adult age. I mean, maybe even like 16 in some places, because I know, well, I mean, even in the past 15, 16, you were an adult by then. Now it's been 18, which is another thing that kind of goes into what happened where we're developing later. But anyway, I think 16 to 18 is where it needs to be across the board around the world, just so we can kind of cut back on the exposure that a lot of these kids can see on social media and the internet. That's just my opinion. Maybe I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot, but I do think I'm correct in this approach. Again, basing it off of what I've seen growing up with social media, where everybody in my high school had it. A lot of the people that I went to high school with aren't in a great place right now, we'll just put it that way. And I'm not saying social media was the only cause, but I'm sure it had a factor because, again, you can kind of get into your own niche on the internet and then you can kind of reconfirm your own position in the world without challenging it. And it just, minors aren't ready to be on the internet. That's the point I'm trying to make. They're just not ready to be on the internet. So I think we definitely need to have a baseline around the world for it. I believe 18. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments. If you think there should be a baseline, if the baseline should be moved up, because in most places it's supposed to be like 13, but we all know that's just not true. I mean, anybody can get on the internet. How they would go about doing that, I don't know. I think maybe it's tough to say because you want to say like an ID or something like that, or some kind of form that they fill out with all their personal information that shows like their birthday. Again, that's also kind of tricky because it's like, well, then it's your personal information, but then it's also like, well, you're on the internet, so your personal information's already out there. And so it's kind of trying to find that balance. But I do think that from this, we need to see some kind of movement to raise the age to which people can access the internet, because I think it'll just make the world better going forward, period, end of story. But anyway, if you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and I hope to see you guys around. Peace!